Hello everyone, welcome to this lesson. The lesson for today is going to be the simple past of the verb to be. We are going to talk about a little bit of the rules and also the negative and interrogative form of the verb to be in the simple past. So let's see the first step. Okay, so first let's conjugate. So we have for the verb to be, we are going to check a little bit about what we know, because as you know the verb to be has the present, the simple present form, which is I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, they are, you are. So this is the basic conjugation of the verb to be in the simple present. So why this is important? Because we need to know first the base form, and then we can understand a little bit about the simple past. So when we use was and when we use were. So when we have I am, we have I was, you were, he was, she was, it was, we were, they were, and you were. So how can we form the negative in the simple past? So let's see. We have I was not or I wasn't, you were not or you weren't, he was not or he wasn't, she was not or she wasn't, it was not or it wasn't, we were not or we weren't, they were not, they weren't, and you were not, you weren't. The second line over here, such as wasn't, weren't, wasn't, is the contraction of the complete form, right? Like was not, it's wasn't, were not, weren't. It's just the contraction, so we can use that. So all of this is in affirmative and negative form. Now let's see how can we form the interrogative form. So in the interrogative form, as we usually do, we just change places. What I mean is we put first the verb to be, and we form was I happy, for example. No? Was I happy? It's like a question, interrogative form, and the answers are yes I was, or if we use the contraction, no I wasn't. Were you happy? Yes you were, or no you weren't, using the contraction. In the case of he, was he happy? Yes he was, or no he wasn't. Was she happy? Yes she was, no she wasn't. Was it happy? Yes it was, no it wasn't. Were we happy? Yes we were, no we weren't. Were they happy? Yes they were, no they weren't. Were you happy? Yes you were, or no we weren't. Remember, we have the contractions. No, if we have I was, we wasn't, were not, or weren't. So that's how we can do the interrogative form. And remember, this is like just no questions. So let's see. Don't remember that we have a was not, or wasn't for I, he, she, and it, right? And for we, they, and you, we use were. In negative, were not or weren't, which is the contraction. No, remember this part. I, he, she, it, go with was not, or wasn't. We, they, you, were not, or weren't in the case of negative. Okay, so let's practice a little bit, because We can understand better if we analyze or if we have examples, if we practice. So let's see, in the first example we have I was at the hospital waiting for my mom, right? We know that hospital is a place, right? So the verb to be help us to talk about places, feelings as well, right? For example, in this case we are talking about a place. That means I was at the hospital waiting for my mom. How can we do this sentence in the negative form? I wasn't at the hospital waiting for my mom, right? We can use the contraction, no? Was not, wasn't. I wasn't. So that is a negative form. In questions, in the interrogative form, we can say, was I at the hospital waiting for my mom? Right? So let's see the next example. So here in this case we have she was happy in her birthday party. She was happy in her birthday party. Was happy, right? Happy is a feeling, right? It's emotion, is how you feel. So remember that the verb to be also help us to talk about feelings. In this case we were talking about a place, which is hospital, but in this case we can express also feelings in the past, right? So she was happy, in the negative form she wasn't, because wasn't is a contraction of was not. So she wasn't happy in her birthday party. And in the interrogative form, was she happy in her birthday party? So we have these three forms. Let's continue with some examples. We have here the plural form. They were sick last week. They were sick last week. That means sick means that how you were feeling. So that also in the verb to be also help us to talk about health, right? If you were sick, if you were not feeling good. So sick is a good example. And we have here plural. They were. So in the negative form we can use they weren't, or they were not. So they weren't sick last week. And in the interrogative form we bring the subject here and they here. So were they sick last week? Okay. And the next example we have she was a good student in school. So this, for example, when we say she was a good student, that means we are talking about identity, or how you personally were. So verb to be help us also to talk about that, those characteristics about our personality. So she was a good student in school. If we want to do in the negative form, we just add was not or wasn't. She wasn't a good student in school. And in the interrogative form we say, was she a good student in school? Right? Was she? Remember, we just bring was here and she here. Was she a good student in school? So that's how we form the question. Remember, the verb to be help us to talk about places, about where we were or where people were, or also feelings. How do you feel, or how were you feeling in the past? Also to talk about your identity, your personality. That means how you were in the past, and then maybe you change for now. So this is the basic topics about the simple past. You just need to remember how we conjugate with every subject. Okay, so let's continue with the last part. Remember that we talk about the yes no questions, but also we always have two kinds of questions in English. We have the yes no questions and WH questions. So the WH questions are information questions, right? Remember, because when we ask with WH questions, we are asking for information, right? We are not asking just to confirm yes or no. we also want to know information. For example, the WH words or question markers are who, where, when, why, what, and how, right? So for example, who refers to people, right, to a person. Where refers to a place. When means about, it's talking about the time. What, it's talking about something. Why, it's asking a reason why. And how, we are asking how, the manner of how the things happen, how the things are done or we are doing. So the first example, we can use who in the next form, like who was at the party, right? We still are using the simple past of the verb to be. Who was at the party? My best friend, right? Where was the party? Where? It was at Main Street. So if we are talking about place like where, we want information. So the specific information is it was at 10 Main Street. When it's talking about time, right? About the time. So when was the party? It was on Monday. Monday is the information related to time. What was the problem, right? The problem was the test was very difficult. Why? We are asking for reasons. So were you late? No, why were you late? Why were you late? Because the traffic was terrible. So remember, when we ask why, we always have to answer with because. Okay, so let's see how. Remember, how means the manner, right? How you do or did the thing. So how was your weekend, right? How? So it was very good, right? Very good. It's the answer or the explanation about how. So remember, so we are still using was and were with about UH question marks. So you just need to practice and recognize when you have just no questions and when you have information questions.